Hello everyone, morning. The Strait of Hormuz lies unusually calm. A U.S. Israeli naval escort moves steadily beside a line of massive oil tankers, guiding them through the narrowest maritime choke point on Earth. Radar on a guided missile cruiser sweeps the sky and the dark blue water, searching for anything that does not belong. Everything appears normal, yet a quiet strategic question begins to surface beneath the calm. If Hormuz were sealed for even a few minutes, how violently would the entire global economy react? Don't take your eyes off the screen until the secret is revealed. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. A warning flickers across the cruiser's radar screen. Small contacts appear low over the water. At first, they look like ordinary surface clutter, the kind operators see every day in the narrow waters of the strait. Then the system begins to process the pattern. Detect, track, classify. More signals appear almost simultaneously. At the same moment, the sonar room reports unusual engine noise coming from the northern shoreline. Fast-moving craft are accelerating out from Iranian coastal waters. On the tactical display inside the Combat Information Center, red icons begin multiplying and spreading rapidly across the map. Some contacts move north of Hormuz. Others slide behind the tanker convoy. Several emerge from the shadow of small islands scattered across the strait. Their vectors are not random, they are coordinated. The pattern becomes unmistakable. Iranian IRGC fast attack boats are converging from multiple directions. This is not routine maritime traffic. It is the opening geometry of a swarm attack. No matter how today is going, having you here means a lot. Comment 1 if you're okay, 2 if you feel positive, 3 if you feel refreshed, no further warning. Then the sky ignites. From the Iranian coastline, multiple anti-ship missiles erupt almost simultaneously, boosters roaring as they claw upward before leveling off toward the narrow waters of the strait. Radar screens across the escort formation spike instantly. New tracks appear, fast, low, closing. At the same moment, dark shapes accelerate across the water. Armed IRGC speedboats surge out from hidden inlets and island coves, engines screaming as they race toward the tanker convoy. Above them, several small drones dive into formation, their compact airframes cutting through the hot morning air. The sky over Hormuz suddenly fills with white missile trails and flashing radar alerts. Inside the combat information centers of the American and Israeli warships, alarms sound in sharp electronic bursts. Operators move instantly. Detect, track, prioritize. Missile defense systems power online. Fire control radars lock targets. Vertical launch cells open along the decks of the escort ships. What had been a quiet escort mission seconds earlier has transformed into a full combat engagement. In the narrow throat of the world's most important oil corridor, the battle for control of Hormuz has just begun. The radar screens fill with targets. Too many, too fast. Inside the combat information centers, operators stare at the tactical displays as red tracks multiply across the grid. Every second matters now. Warships cannot engage everything at once. Priorities must be chosen. Missile batteries swivel. Fire control radars lock on the most immediate threats. Intercept orders are issued. Defensive missiles streak upward from the escort ships, punching into the sky with bright flashes of rocket exhaust. Seconds later, sharp bursts appear across the radar picture as some incoming missiles vanish from the screen. Successful intercepts. But the relief is brief. Other targets remain, still closing, still fast. Across the narrow waters of the strait, armed speedboats continue racing toward the convoy, while drones weave above the surface, searching for gaps in the defensive shield. In just a few minutes, the calm shipping corridor of Hormuz has transformed into a tense battlefield, where every decision, every interception, and every second carries enormous weight. Behind the tension unfolding across the strait, a far more complex system is quietly at work. Modern naval defense is not a single weapon, it is a layered network. At the center of that network are AESA radars mounted on the escorting warships. These electronically scanned arrays can track dozens of fast-moving objects at once, constantly updating their speed, altitude, and trajectory. Every missile, drone, and small craft is immediately fed into a shared tactical picture. Once a threat is confirmed, the first defensive layer activates. Long-range interceptor missiles launch vertically from the ship's decks, climbing rapidly before turning toward incoming targets. Their job is simple: destroy the threat as far from the fleet as possible. But distance alone is not enough. Electronic warfare systems begin transmitting powerful interference signals across the spectrum. Guidance links are disrupted. Drone navigation systems struggle to maintain stable targeting. Even advanced missiles can become confused in a dense electronic environment. Together, these systems operate like an integrated defensive web. Radar detects, computers assign targets. Missiles intercept, electronic warfare disrupts. Each layer supports the next. What appears from the outside as chaos in the sky is, in reality, a highly coordinated technological shield protecting the fleet. The Strait of Hormuz is not wide. In some sections, the navigable shipping lanes measure only a few dozen kilometers across. Yet through this narrow corridor flows one of the most important energy lifelines on Earth. Tankers carrying millions of barrels of crude oil pass through these waters every single day, moving from the Persian Gulf toward markets across Asia, Europe, and North America. That is why the danger unfolding here extends far beyond the immediate battle. If fighting intensifies, the consequences could spread quickly through the global economy. Hundreds of commercial vessels operate in this region at any given moment. If missile launches, drone strikes, or naval skirmishes continue, many of those ships may be forced to halt or divert. Shipping lanes could become clogged within hours. Insurance rates would surge. Energy markets would react instantly. And the battlefield itself may not remain limited to the water. Along Iran's coastline sit multiple missile positions capable of launching additional salvos into the strait. Mobile launchers can relocate quickly, making them difficult to suppress completely. In strategic terms, this is what makes Hormuz uniquely dangerous. Even a relatively small clash between military forces in this narrow waterway has the potential to ripple outward, disturbing trade routes, unsettling energy supplies, and shaking financial markets across the entire world. The defensive phase does not last long. Within minutes, the fleet shifts posture. Defense becomes pursuit. On the flight deck of the aircraft carrier, engines roar to life. One by one, fighter jets accelerate down the runway and launch into the sky, banking sharply toward the northern shoreline. Their mission is no longer interception, it is suppression. At the same time, reconnaissance drones climb into the air and push deeper toward the Iranian coast. Their sensors begin scanning the terrain, searching for the origin points of the missile launches. Heat signatures, radar emissions, vehicle movement along coastal roads. Every signal is fed back to the fleet in real time. With new coordinates appearing on the tactical map, the warships respond. Precision-guided weapons are prepared and fired toward confirmed launch sites, and fast-moving IRGC attack boats still maneuvering across the water. The engagement changes character quickly. What began as a defensive shield over the convoy now evolves into a deliberate hunt. The fleet is no longer simply absorbing the attack. It is locating, targeting, and dismantling the systems that launched it. Minutes later, the Strait of Hormuz appears calm again. The sea traffic continues, and oil tankers resume their slow passage through the narrow channel. But the warships remain on high alert, radar still sweeping the sky and water without pause. Beneath the surface calm, the tension has not disappeared. The lesson is unmistakable. In modern warfare, even a narrow stretch of water like Hormuz can become the trigger point for a crisis powerful enough to shake the global economy. The following scenario is hypothetical and is intended to provide viewers with an objective perspective on modern warfare.